Welcome back to the Insights in Autism video series. We've been speaking with Sherilyn Walton, who is the Family Support Coordinator for TARC. If you missed part one, I would recommend you could check that out before watching this video, since we've covered a few of the initial questions that I had for her already. So you've been an advocate for a while now. You said you've been at TARC for 23 years? 23 years. For those families who are just starting off in a special education journey, what advice would you give them?
I think that they probably would need to research some about special education services. There are several ways to do that. There are some good websites. The State Department of Ed has a good website with policies and procedures online that they can look at. But often when parents call me, they have maybe one question. And it may be, I think my child has a disability. They're having problems at school. Or we have family members who have suggested that we might need to have our child evaluated. So sometimes it's one question. And these websites that are readily available can be overwhelming. So it can be very difficult. And that's one reason they often call me, is that they do feel a little overwhelmed with the whole system. They don't know where to start. They don't know what the process will look like.
Someone who can kind of cut through the noise and tell them what's really important, which they should be focusing on. So let's say that a family has just been told by the school that, hey, we're going to do an evaluation to see if you're eligible for services, or maybe they've got their first IEP scheduled. As they go into that, are there certain questions they should have ready to ask, or other things they need to be kind of on the lookout for?
There are several things that I would ask if I were a parent. One is, what questions do we want this testing to answer? Another one is, what testing will be done? Who is going to do the testing? How long is this going to take? Because it can be quite a long process. And what are we going to do if the results suggest that my child needs some services?
And how much of that would you say is sort of a direct product of the testing, or does the parent and the team sit down and go through the results together and then decide what's sort of a support that can be put in place for that child?
Yes, the parent really is involved from the beginning, when they sign for the testing, to when that testing is completed and the evaluation is written, and they have the meeting with the parents, with the team there, to discuss what the test showed. And then there may be that suggestion that there are services that child needs.
Okay. And so you said there's a lot of resources out there, a lot of obviously information on the web. If a parent does find themselves in a situation that doesn't seem quite right, are there certain laws or rules that I think every parent may need to know about?
Well, again, there's so many laws that really affect this, that can be, like you said before, a lot of noise. So one reason parents call me is they may have a question. That it may be, I think my child does need services, to the school wants to test. So I can really help them kind of decide what it is that they need to ask, how they need to be involved in this process. And then there's always that opportunity that they might need me. And it's really nice to have someone else in the room with you, someone who is not the school, not the parent, who's really that person who's looking outside and in, and can see things really less passionately, because parents are very passionate about their children. So I really look at it from a viewpoint of a professional viewpoint, and I really help them understand what is being said at the meetings.
I see. So if they have questions, they're always welcome to call you, and then you might be able to advise them whether or not it'd be a good thing for you to come to the actual meeting and advocate for them. Okay. Are there any red flags that you would say kind of commonly pop up that a parent should see and be, maybe I need to have someone else in this room sort of mediating this, or on my side?
Well, I think if a parent feels like the school does not understand what they're trying to say about their child, or if they have a student that is having repeated issues at school, but they don't feel like they're being addressed adequately, I think schools really try their very best to identify kids, but we do sometimes have a problem having testing. So if they feel like things aren't moving fast, or they're not adequately addressing the parents' concerns, then that may be a time to call me.
So not feeling heard, or maybe those lingering problems that don't seem to be getting better
Right.
based on what the school's doing. That should be a red flag. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this is great information. This is part 2 of our 3-part series with Ms. Sherilyn Walton. Make sure you stay tuned and check out part 3 and 1 if you haven't already.